My name is Ryan Bresci. I am the VP here at ScoreNavigator. ScoreNavigator is a company that's been around 22 years, going on 23 years. On this demo, we're going to start with the preview. Our preview is going to have a couple of different things. One, you'll be able to see each of the three bureaus. You'll be able to see the current score as well as the max score. Something new is going to be action points. Our action points is brought to you by our point deduction technology. Here we like to separate the points from short term to long term. The short term is going to be focused on the positive credit points, usually dealing with high balance ratios. The long term is going to be mainly focused on the negative credit, the derogatories, whether it's late payments, disputes, all those items will be coming into our long term points. From there, it's designed for you guys to hit see how, and it's going to take you to your order options page. Your order option page will allow you to do a couple of things. It'll allow you to select either one or two of the borrowers. The products we're going to offer is going to be the mortgage action plan, the money and target simulator. I know it says manual, but this is now revamped to the smart score simulator, and I'll show that with you guys later. And it's per bureau. From there, you guys would hit start, and it's going to take you to your dashboard. Your dashboard is going to have a couple of different things. One is going to have some information about Score Navigator, the point deductions, as well as the mortgage action plan. Here, you'll be able to find your CRA's support email is going to be here. Here as well, you'll find a letter to you guys that's thanking you for your business. Your training manual will be here that gives you a step-by-step guide of what to look for when you're looking at each one of the products, as well as a training video that explains all the stuff that you see in the training manual with the products. Then we can get into our first click, which is going to be our logbook. If you just have more than one person looking at a file or more than one team and you guys want to cross-reference each other's notes here, we can do that. All you would do is log the information. You would hit log, add, and then from there it's going to add it. It will be timestamped and date so you can see when it was done as well. And then we're going to get into our first product, which is going to be the mortgage action plan. The mortgage action plan is going to be broken up into four different sections: the trade line report, recommendations, credit summary, as well as credit options. You will be able to see the score here to the left. In the middle, you'll see the point deductions, which is the total amount of points we're losing on this bureau. This is going to be your action points, your short term and long term added is going to be here. But then getting into our first dropdown with our trade line report, we're always going to separate it starting with the positive accounts, working our way to the negatives collections. If there's increase, they'll be here as well. Two of the biggest things to look at when we're looking at our trade line report is one, as you guys can already see, there's a lot of items in red. What we like to do is highlight when most errors happen on a credit report. So if I'm the loan officer looking at this, I'm trying to take my eyes to these three line items. For instance, on this POS account that's open, I can see that this Chase account, the limit type is being reported as zero. This zero limit type with this $0 balance is no different. That is showing that as 10,000. 10,000 is showing that as maxed out. And because of that, we can look to our right at our bureau deductions, which is brought to you by our point deductions. And we can see that we're actually losing 20 points because of this. So you'll be able to see where most errors happen in red, but you'll also be able to see how many points you're losing per account to the right on each one of these if we're losing any points at all. There's a couple of extra line items that you will find on here as well. For instance, if account is in dispute, there will be a comment, but we're also going to let them know as well when the account is scheduled to be removed on. So they'll get that information as well. And then we have our second drop down, which is going to be our recommendations. The recommendations will be separated for your short term and your long term. Short term being focused on the positive credits is dealing with really the balances. So here we're going to let them know first. We're always going to make sure that it's being reported correctly. And then if it is, we're going to let them know how much money they need to pay, to which account, and how many points they can try to get back. For the long term, whether it's inaccuracies with this collection or if there's any dispute language, there will be an additional language tab here. One just explains what a dispute is, how to handle it, and just making sure that we're doing things the proper way. And then we have the credit summary. We take it a step further. Here, they'll get a bird eyes view of the total accounts, their total balances, their utilization, available credit, credit history, and that information. But we're going to break those accounts down just a step further. We're going to let them know when to keep their transactions after, the best day to make their payments by, what they need to keep their balance under, as well as what their current balance ratio is. The whole idea of our best day to make their payments by is not necessarily having them pay it on their due date. Well, we want them to make their payments before the report date. If we can get them to make it before the report date, When it does report, it's going to reflect that the balancers are being paid, which is going to maximize your score. To the right of that, they will get payment history for the training data. So if there's a late payments, they'll be able to see that here, and they'll get all that training data here. Our final tab is our credit options tab. Here's really for the guys where we see where we're lacking positive credit. Here they have the availability and the option to get information, whether it's a secured credit card or authorized users, which are the only two for this current scoring model that will help them with their mortgage score. We do have availabilities for the alternative credit and the rent reporting. Even though these aren't with the current scoring model, we do know that these will affect the new scoring models, but we still offer them because these guys might be 6 months to a year out. Why start them 6 months to a year out and then have to start the process again versus starting them now so when those new models do hit, they're already ready to go? There is informational pieces on each one of these. That way they are doing things the proper way and just making sure that they know before they go and handling everything the proper and correct way. With the mortgage action plan, you do have the availability to share each one of these tabs as a PDF to the client. You would click here, this red button here. And for me, I'm big on sending the summary report. It's almost like a homework for the client. You would click on it. It's going to take you to a page as such here. And then you can save this either for your file or to be able to share it with your client to give them their homework. And then that's the mortgage action plan. That's the first product. Our next sequence of products is going to be the target and money simulator. These go hand in hand. So if you get the TU target, you also get the TU money. We'll start with the TU target. Here's extremely simple. You would click this box. You would type in the desired score you're looking for. We can say a 770. And it's going to give me recommendations on how to get to that score. It's going to let me know how much I need to pay, when I need to pay it, but also what I need to keep my balance below. There is 3 extra line items that you will find here. Here we're going to let them know how much money it's going to cost, what their potential score is going to be, but also based off of these recommendations, we're also going to provide them with the best estimated date to have their credit pulled. But then we could take it from our money's perspective. The 4069 might be doable for the client at this time. Then we can go to the money simulator and say they had 2 grand. We would hit run. It's going to show me the best way to spend those funds. It's going to give me recommendations dispersing those monies. And you'll still get a price point, a potential score, as well as based off of these recommendations, a best estimated date to have your credit pulled as well. And then getting into the Smart Score simulators, when you're on the order page, once it's updated, if you do click the manual, just know that this is the Smart Score simulator that you're ordering. And here we can do a bunch of different things. Here we can go one and fix the inaccuracies of the credit report, but we can also run simulations of as whether it's adding a new account, whether it's a individual account or an authorized user account. You have the availability to change the status of whether it's for the positive, whether it's recently late or closed. For this account here that was in dispute, if you would click on this little expand here, you can simulate removing the word dispute as well. You can also work on really if I'm ever going to lose points, it's going to explain to me why I'm going to lose points versus paying off a collection or having it deleted. You can run those scenarios. And we can go and simulate fixing these inaccuracies. For instance, this credit limit was 6,000. This balance was paid to 500. Capital One is horrible reporting the actual credit limit. It's actually 10,000. And this balance has been paid down to 1,200. We can fix this one to be reporting correctly. We can go and hit run. And it's going to let me know on the right, my score is likely to increase by 85 points. It's going to let them know how much money it's going to cost. We'll also provide a best estimated date to have their credit pulled as well. You will be able to see which accounts that you made changes to. They'll be highlighted in red. In order to get these to be reset, you would hit reset values. And from there, it'll give you a clean slate to work with. When adding a new account, you would type in the limit, the initial balance. You would hit submit. You'll see it here. And from there, you would go down and hit run to see if they're going to gain points back or not. That's it, guys.